In 3D, the word Boolean means something very specific to people. It usually means to add or remove bits from a model. And for us, people who do this every day, Booleans can be messy, they can leave bad geometry. So let's explore what Booleans actually are in Nomadsculpt and see if we can use them. And in fact, where they even came from. So welcome to a journey that's more about mathematics than art, or is it? I don't really know, if I'm honest. So in the world of 3D modeling today, we're so used to hearing the word Boolean. So it's about time we explored what that means to us with Nomadsculpt. Now, Boolean comes from the name George Boole, and George Boole was born in 1815 in Lincoln. He was a self-taught mathematical genius, and despite having little formal schooling, Boole's passion for mathematics led him to so many profound discoveries. In 1847, he published the Mathematical Analysis of Logic, laying the groundwork for what would become Boolean algebra. And Boolean algebra led to Boolean logic, which is a form of algebra where all the values are reduced to either true or false. Now that might sound familiar, and that's the basis of modern computing with ones and zeros, or binary. This simple concept revolutionized the way we process logical operations. And don't worry if this doesn't mean too much to you if you're a creator and you're not very mathematical, but it forms the basis of modern computer science. Boolean logic became the language of computers, guiding circuits, algorithms, and data structures. It's the invisible hand directing everything from your smartphone to the internet that you're watching me on right now. In 3D programming, Boolean algorithms work like digital creators, merging, carving shapes, and creating more complex models than you already have. Now, I've been using Booleans since 1991, believe it or not, and I knew very little about George Boole or Boolean algebra, and I know nothing about algebra, but I do understand the concept of Booleans and how it applies to 3D models. So this video is going to be all about that bit, and we're going to take a look by working through what the algorithm actually does for us. Firstly, let me give you a little 101 on Boolean logic, whether you like it or not. So who uses Booleans other than us artists? So, well, Google uses it, for example. So let's explore that a little bit, and we'll put a graphic on the screen there. Well, first of all, you can see you've got and, or, and not. And the balls represent search terms. So let's work through these. So these operators are used all the time by Google and other search engines when you type in descriptions. So for example, if you're Googling Game of Thrones Wikipedia, the Google search engine sees this as Game of Thrones and Wikipedia. And, no pun intended, is a default operator for Google, and it works by combining terms together. So by entering dragons and horses into Google, the results will be all about dragons and horses, logically. So then there's not. A not is used to get rid of a search term. If you type in dragons, not horses, then every website that appears on screen will be all about dragons, and everything horse related just won't be there. Well, finally, there's or, which is used if you want to find everything possible on a subject. By searching dragons or horses, Google's going to look for those documents that contain either horse or dragon and give you the results. It broadens the search terms. So how does this relate to us? So see that image on screen? Hold that in your mind while we look at how Booleans work in Nomadsculpt. Okay, before we go deep into Booleans then, let's have a look at what we've had from the beginning with Nomadsculpt. So we used to have something, and we still have this, called Voxal Remeshing. And this, if I'm honest, is what I use more than Booleans. So just bear with me while I explain to you what this is. So this is a model. Obviously, it's an orange sphere, and the wireframe is on. It's very predictable mesh. It's a multi-resolution mesh. So if you go in here, you can see it's been subdivided. So it is actually just that as the base mesh. So I can delete those higher reses, and that's the resolution that I've got. Now, if I remesh it, what that does is, if I say, for example, just use the move tool, and I pull it out to the side, it starts to stretch. If I come up here to voxel and I change the resolution up and down, and that is what's called a voxel grid. So that's in lots of other videos, and I'll cover it in more depth in the future. Based on the slider, we're going to get more or less resolution. So if we keep it somewhere like 150, 130, 122 there, and we'll say remesh. And what happens is it distributes the polygons across the entire surface, including where I pulled it out. So if I carried on doing that and pulled it out even more and stretched it again, it's done it on both sides because we've got symmetry on. If I hit the voxel button down here, it remembers those settings and it does it again based on the settings. If I push the setting up and then voxel remesh it again, it will be much, much, much higher. You'll see it'll go really, really white because it's super dense. So I'll just undo both of those and go back. What we can also do with this is we can take another one and we can clone this one. We can move that out, scale it down, move it inside. And if I go everything off for a moment, if I just turn on the top one and I only tick the bottom one but leave it not visible, it's going to cut away the smaller one, the one that's invisible, from the larger one, which is like a Boolean that I'm about to show you, with one difference. So what's going to happen is that it's going to remesh across the whole surface, and that doesn't happen with the Boolean algorithm. So if I remesh it, you'll see it's cut it away and it's given us this jaggedy edge based on the amount of geometry that I wanted. So for example, if I want it to be super high res and much better than that, I could increase the resolution. I could go back on to make sure I'm on this top model here, and then go back and subdivide it, delete the lower if needed. Now do the same on the smaller sphere. So I've got two very high res models now, and then I do a remesh and now turn the wireframe off. You can see that that's a much cleaner cut, but I've had to go really, really high, and it's still not particularly brilliant around the edge anyway. I would have to use something like smooth to clean that up before I then quad remesh it back down. So that is voxel merging, basically voxel remeshing. So what we're going to do is look at something which is similar but more recent in Nomad, and that is the Boolean function. Okay, so back to our Boolean kind of theory, our logic up here at the top. The names change a little bit, but the actual diagram and the functions are exactly the same. So I'm going to start actually with the most common one in the middle here, and I'll show you why this is different than a voxel. So I've put the outline on to show you really clearly which one I've got selected and when. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this operation here, which is I'm going to join the two. But before I do, I want to just show you something close up. So if you put the wireframe on and you look, you can see there that one of these intersects the other. They're two separate objects, and there is an intersection there where one passes inside the other. So you already know that this sphere goes inside of this sphere and this one goes inside of this one. Now, voxel merging and Booleans will both clean that out, but there's one big thing to remember here. This is a Boolean combine. It's going to combine these two, and it's going to join them only at this point, and it won't affect the surface. So let's just prove that. So we'll select the two of them together, we'll hit Boolean, and you can see there that at the top there is the voxel merge and all the settings. We don't touch any of them. So we come down to Boolean here, and there's options down at the bottom for the other two that we're going to use in a minute, which would be subtraction, which would be this one, and intersection, which would be this one, the one on the left. But we're just going to do a Boolean exactly as it is there, and we're going to tap it, and it's done the calculation. Now, the surface of these models didn't change, but what did change is that inside, this has now completely welded together, and it's basically joined it across that seam. So if I turn off the wireframe for a moment, you'll see it is a little bit jagged, but you can smooth that very, very easily. And it hasn't affected the geometry in any way. So that can be useful. Rather than affecting your entire surface, it's just joined one to the other. So bear that one in mind as a very good way to join one thing to another. And there is nothing internally now. So it's cleaned out, it's completely cleaned out, these two spheres. You can't, you know, they're one individual model and they're one contiguous mesh, I think you might be able to call it, all the way around. So that is the basics of a Boolean combine. And what we want to do now is look at the other options. So that's the one in the middle, completely done. But what about this one over here, which is, if I just unhide this for a second, this one at the top left, which is a Boolean intersection. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do something slightly different. So we're going to go up to our menu. We'll tap on our pin to keep it open. We've got ball 1 and ball 2. And to do an intersection, you have to do something a little bit different in this stack here. So if you turn everything off, so the 2 ticks are off and the 2 eyes are off, so you can't see anything. But if you then just basically tick them both on, and they're together like that, and then you call the Boolean, ignore the voxel merge, just do a Boolean and tap it here, what happens is you get the remainder. So it's exactly what it says in the top there, and it's giving you whatever's left. If you look at the wireframe, that gives you a tiny bit of a jaggedy edge, but the model is exactly the same as the model that was on this side, and that's the same as this one on this side. So if one was low poly and one was high poly, you'd have a problem there. The seam would be worse. Now, what's really good now is we've got quad remesher. So we can remesh that intersection. This is nothing to do with this video, but it's worth you having a look at it. If I say quad remesher 300 and I just turn off symmetry and just remesh it, it can see that very clean mesh and it'll remesh it to that shape. And there you go. You have a very, very clean model. Very useful for all of the things that we might want to do going forward. So it's the edge might have been rough, but with a quad remesh, you can quickly clean it up. Okay, so let's go back and do the last one now. So this one over here is basically a removal, and this one's very, very similar. So we take the one that we want to keep, and the easiest way to do this, I always find, is to turn everything off and then start again. So I want to turn the eye on the one I want to keep and the tick, and then I'll just turn the tick on. You can mess with that a little bit, but if you just start with everything on, it gets to the point where it won't turn off without turning the other one off. So do it as I've just showed you there. So you've got one invisible and one completely visible, and then you call the Boolean like so, and there you have a nice clean removal. And the thing again is to look at it and just see what's happened. So it's just joined it across the seam. So it's taken the geometry from one on the right and the geometry from the one on the left, and it's sealed it across wherever it can. So with a sphere, that gives you a nice, fairly clean edge, something like that. But what if we do it with a cube? So I've added a cube. I've made it 12 by 12 on all sides, and I've then validated it. I'm going to duplicate that, so clone it, bring that forward, scale that down. And what we're going to do is do exactly the same very quickly in the 3 ways that we've done it, and see if you can predict what's going to happen. Now, one thing to note is you already know that it's going to seal it across. It's going to join these verts to these here. So if you can make it easier, one thing, it has to be intersecting, obviously, or a lot of this won't work. But what you might want to do is get your model closer to the lines around it. You can see there I've made it very, very close on this edge here. So something like that, for example. So this edge is quite close. And now let's just try the 2 individual ones. So both of them selected, first of all, and we'll do Boolean and just Boolean it and see what happens. So what it's done there is it's joined it now, and it's tried its best, so it hasn't done too much damage there. But what I could have done beforehand, before I did that, is if I just undo it, and I'll take this cube and I'll subdivide it. But one thing that's going to be different, I'm going to subdivide with linear subdivision ticked, like so, and that doesn't round it, so it doesn't smooth it. Use the subdivision algorithm to smooth it. And now watch, they're quite similar in density. So if we go back and we take the 2 of them selected again, we go Boolean, and we'll go hit Boolean, and there you can see it's a little bit cleaner on the corners. So, and that's a way that you can, you know, join your models in a cleaner way than doing a voxel merge all the time. I'll do 2 more tests to show you what I mean. So we'll sync that one inside. So we'll turn everything off, both eyes and both ticks, so that everything's off, and then just put the ticks on, and then do a Boolean, and you'll see you've got your intersection. So that is a nice clean intersection between the 2 of them. Now it has got some triangles in it, or they are actually quads, but they're not, that they would cause you a problem on subdivision. But it depends on the kind of modeling you're doing, and it's certainly a lot lower polygon than it would be if you'd voxel remeshed it. And then the last one, if you remember, was turn everything off, and just those 2, the larger one that's receiving on, and keep the eye off on the little one. So that's the transparent one, and then do a Boolean. It'll do a removal, and it's done the edges for you there. Now, as I said, it won't subdivide particularly well, but you might be happy with that. You might get away with that. It's a much cleaner operation overall than doing it with a voxel remesh, and it's up to you to work out where that fits into your workflow, because there's a huge difference between the voxel merging and remeshing and all of those different Boolean algorithm options that you get. Very, very similar in most programs, you know, very much the same result, and a blessing and a curse to modelers. So a lot of people dislike the kind of geometry that Booleans leave, but when you know all of those options are there, you've got lots of options to improve your modeling in lots of different ways. So have a go with that. Let me know how you get on and which one you like to use. Personally, I use Voxal Remesh a lot because I'm an organic modeler primarily. I like my organic creatures, characters, environments, and I don't do, you know, much hard surface modeling, which is where the other one comes in quite a lot. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below which one you use, and are you a Boolean lover or are you a Boolean hater? If you're a Blender user and you use things like hard ops, then you're going to be a lover of Booleans and this kind of workflow. It's not used all that much in Nomadsculpt, but these are the options that you've got. I really hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you are, please give us a thumbs up, as it helps us to get in front of other people that like this kind of content. And hopefully you've learned a fair bit about George Boole and what he left us in his legacy. So I'm going to do more of these videos about people who've really influenced my career over the hundreds of years of the development of maths and art.